Paul, over to you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for everybody for joining this conference call. I'm excited about this period of time. Obviously, there's lots going on, and I'll mention it briefly here. But with the introduction of our new partners with BT and the NXT UK brand hitting airwaves in that manner, along with NXT here hitting the BT airwaves, and it's an exciting time. I want to welcome everybody that's on this call. Also, we have a lot of new media here today, and we have media from Germany and Italy and Australia. And I want to thank you for your participation in this and for your support of the brand. Since we launched NXT UK at the end of 2016, or just announced the concept of it, it's been a remarkable ride, and the rise of it has been incredible. The weekly show airing in 2018 very quickly became one of the most popular shows on the WWE Network, the second biggest behind NXT here. The Performance Center opening up a year ago transformed that marketplace to me and allowed our athletes there to learn and train at a different level, and that progression has been remarkable in what they do from a product execution standpoint. And you see that NXT UK has also churned out some incredible talent. Pete Dunne as the longest reigning NXT champion in the UK, but also Rhea Ripley now as the NXT champion here in the US. Both talent really sort of branching out of the UK and just making a global name for themselves. Basically making a global name for themselves in NXT UK, and now parlaying that into something even more impressive. So it really goes to show you just the depth and the depth of what is there when you talk about the roster and the talent that are in NXT UK. It's incredible. Our partnership with BT takes us to another level and is extremely exciting, just showcasing what the UK offers, the best talent in the world, to a market there and in a different way where more and more people can enjoy it. And I look forward to that growing and expanding. And it's also extremely exciting to come back to Blackpool. There is the episode of NXT UK that airs this week will have a show called Prime Target in it. And it really kind of gives you the build to Blackpool and what Blackpool means, not just to us, to William Regal, to myself, to everybody that's been a part of this, but to the athletes themselves, to fans, to everybody. It really showcases what Blackpool, what takeovers, what the NXT UK brand means. And I'm really proud of that show. And I think if anybody gets a chance, Jeremy Borash and his team really put some phenomenal work in on that. And it's the episode of that is something they should all be very, very proud of. So everybody has the card in front of them. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about it, but it's exciting. And I'll open it up to questions now, because to me, that's where it gets good. So let me hear from all of you. Please don't be shy. Ask away.
Thank you. If you would like to ask a question, please signal by pressing *1 on your telephone keypad. If you're using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, press *1 to ask a question, and we'll pause for just a moment to allow everyone an opportunity to signal for questions. We'll take our first caller from Francesco Palmerini with Noises.
Yes, thank you. Hello, Paul. Nice to meet you, and good year to you.
It's great to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay, so the first question is, after a glorious career, you are dedicating yourself to the development of new talents today or tomorrow with NXT. How do you feel about having a fundamental role in the careers of the new WWE superstars?
As much as I enjoyed my in-ring career, this to me is something that is special, but on a different level. The ability to help these young talent that have a dream of being something more, of being superstars like I did when I was young and just getting started. You have this crazy dream and you're willing to do anything and work as hard as you possibly can to get it. To help them achieve that dream and reach something, make something more of themselves than they ever thought they could be, to give them the opportunity to do that in front of the world, like we're doing in UK, with our partners BT now, to be seen on that platform, to be able to provide them with opportunities to show the world like we do at TakeOver. It's massive. And, it's something that Shawn Michaels and myself talk about all the time. As much as we enjoyed our in-ring careers, this is almost like in some way watching your kids. The pride level that you have of watching these guys and women succeed at that level is hard to match. It really is.
Okay, thank you. And talking about the Performance Center and the debuting to NXT, that is actually the goal of any child who dreams about a WWE career. What message do you want to give to help the children to fulfill their dream?
I think the thing that's important in all of this, and it has been part of the goal since the beginning, is to offer a pathway to the WWE. As you said, kids around the world, young people around the world grow up and they have a dream of becoming a WWE superstar. To be able to go out globally and create a pathway to that being able to happen, when for a lot of people, they never thought that was a possibility. Even if they ended up getting into the industry, there were a lot of people like a Finn Balor, I'm sure like a Pete Dunne, people like a Rhea Ripley, probably that never thought, Toni Storm, that never thought they could really have the opportunity to be in the WWE because that was a pipe dream and it was very difficult. To give them that opportunity now is huge. But I would say to anybody that has that dream, don't take no for an answer. Majority of the talent that you see and that succeed were told no. They failed. They had setbacks. It's about overcoming those setbacks. And every time you hit a failure point or somebody tells you no, you're one step closer to making it. So don't take no for that for an answer. Do everything you possibly can. Take care of your body, train, exercise, keep yourself in the best possible shape and be ready at all times, because all you need is that opportunity to come in front of you. And when it comes, you want to be ready to take it.
Okay, thank you. And since we are asking a question from Italy, in this weekend, Fabian Aichner could become another Italian winner of a title after Bruno Sammartino, Italian wins. How much is improved the Italian wrestling in the last few years, and how much WWE bets in this movement, Italian movement?
Look, I think like every place in the world, whether, Italy, Germany, France, every place, there are athletes with dreams. Fabian Aichner is one of them. Much like Bruno Sammartino had this dream to become something more, and he came to the United States and was able to, through the WWE, was able to live out that dream and become one of the most famous people and ever, one of the greatest performers ever in our industry. So, those dreams are there. The talent that come out of a lot of places are incredible. Italy being one of them. Fabian Aichner is an incredible talent. Extremely hard worker, a sponge, learns at an incredible rate. He has a very bright future. And like you said, can I see him being a champion? Absolutely, at the highest levels.
Okay, thank you, and good luck in Blackpool.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll take our next question from Neil Docking with the Daily Mirror.
Hi, Paul. Good to speak to you.
Hey, Neil. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Really looking forward to this weekend. And as you mentioned, NXT UK is now part of WWE's new TV deal with BT Sport. I presume for you, especially having secured that TV deal in America, that a TV deal for NXT UK was the logical next step for the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, being able to give a showcase to a brand that is exceptional. The talent, when you go down the talent roster of NXT UK, you know, of what is there now, the Tyler Bates, the Trent Sevens, Walters, you know, Jordan Devlins, the Gallus, that whole group, you know, Mastiff, Eddie Dennis, Ilya Dragunov, you know, Imperium, I can go on and on. You know, and I'm missing people that are massively talented. You look at the women's side, Piper, Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm. I mean, the roster is deep. The talent are incredible. The shows, NXT UK is a phenomenal in-ring product and a great show. So I'm excited to showcase that to the world. I'm excited to showcase you know, those extraordinary talents to a larger audience, to expose them to the UK, to expose them all around the world, actually. And I don't want to stop there with it. I would like that brand to be a worldwide, world-known brand, you know, and grow all of this. There's room for all of it. And then to be able to replicate that in other places as well is the long-term goal.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about all those talents and wanting to give them a bigger showcase and expose their talent. Last year we had 2 NXT UK TakeOver events, and obviously the TV shows, it often feels like they're building towards these large events, these big platforms where we can really see, you know, matches of the year. This year, can you tell us, are you hoping to have more NXT UK TakeOvers?
We absolutely will. You know, as you can imagine, Neil, they're trying to put together a WWE calendar with, you know, closing in on 600 live events all over the globe is a difficult process, and it's a puzzle. And if one thing changes, it moves bits and pieces around, and you know, you don't want to be running shows that step on each other, and you know, so it's a bit of a puzzle. There absolutely are plans for more NXT UK takeovers this year. As you see, even just now, you know, this weekend, we're headed to Blackpool for the massive event there. And in a few weeks from that, the NXT UK talent will be over here in Houston, Texas for Worlds Collide, you know, where Imperium will face off with the Undisputed Era and so many other matches that you'll see. That card, as it gets laid out here in the next few days and into the next week, you'll learn exactly what that entire card is. But as you see, that card is spectacular as well. So Worlds Collide, another epic event. But it's all about the exposure for these talent and these brands, and getting them the opportunity, as you said, to have these mega events that you can build towards, and you can give them these spectacle match of the year type things, and make everybody into bigger and bigger stars and household names around the world.
Yeah. I mean, and lastly, just talking this weekend, you know, looking at one match in particular that's caught my eye, Tyler Bate against Jordan Devlin, is such a mouth-watering prospect. What is it about those two guys and that match that, you know, excites you, and the prospect of them tearing it up?
Just about everything about it. You know, Jordan Devlin, I've sung his praises on these calls before, and I think he's a phenomenal in-ring talent that is just scraping the surface of where he's going to end up being. You look at a Tyler Bate, the youngest champion in WWE history. He became UK champion at 19. But when you look back at his body of work, I feel like Tyler Bate. I watched him grow from like a boy to a man in a very short period of time in NXT UK, and the body of work that he's had just in that short period of time is incredible. A match he had with Walter last year, you know, you can make the argument it's one of the best matches I saw all year. You know, when you get into match of the year voting, one wins, but there's so many that it really comes down to personal choice, and they're phenomenal. That was an incredible match, but he's done it over and over again. So watching those two, Devlin is the same. He's proven himself over and over. So watching those two go at it, that's, you know, going to be incredible. But this whole card is stacked. I mean, you know, to me, the tag ladder match, man. Those guys don't have bad matches. They blow the roof off it. I was blown away by the last Blackpool card with the tags, and as I was in Cardiff, that tag match was the greatest I've ever seen. So, this card top to bottom is fantastic, and even Walter and Joe Coffey, they will bring something totally different to the market than what you see going on right now in the industry. It's a different feel. This is two big, undoubtedly heavyweight performers that are going to go at it, but at a level that you don't see in guys that size being able to go at. It's something special.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll take our next caller from Christian Runs with Power Wrestling Magazine.
Hey, Paul, how are you doing today?
Hey, Christian, good. I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, not so bad. Still recovering from the wedding last week on Raw, but other than that, fine. Sunday marks the 1 year anniversary.
A lot of people are, yeah.
Yeah. Sunday marked the 1 year anniversary of Walter's first appearance in NXT UK, and he pretty much entered the main event scene with the victory over Pete Dunne last April in Brooklyn. How important has Walter been for a still young brand that is NXT UK?
He's been incredibly important. Like when you look at that brand and you look at the people that came in as the sort of the founding group that started it, and you think about the impact that Pete Dunne made in that role as champion for that long of a period of time, when something like that changes, there's usually this void, there's usually this drop off of sort of the changing of the guard, and it takes people a while. There was none of that with Walter. Walter came in. I've been a fan of his for a long time. I was so excited when he signed with us, but like for him to come in and really just sort of take control of the brand and say, this is now my brand, and to be able to unseat Pete Dunne as the guy, have Pete move on, and really never miss a beat with the entire brand, like just carry that load and be the guy. That's rare, and you don't see that often. But it speaks to the caliber of not only performer, but of the stature at which Walter carries himself, the aura that he has, the reputation that precedes him, so to speak, of who he is as a performer. It, like you said, allowed it to carry the brand. Yeah,
and he's of course based here out of Germany and likes still to live here. But has there been talk about featuring him on more US shows as well? I don't know if your father-in-law has seen his work. Maybe he's impressed as well.
Yeah, he is. Look, those are always conversations that happen, and time will tell. I think Walter is really happy with where he is right now. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but over conversations we've had, and his through his learning curve, and he's very close with Shawn Michaels, and I think he's happy where he is. There's something to being a WWE superstar, Raw, SmackDown, or NXT in the US, but there's also something to being the guy in the UK and being home. And he's a very home-oriented person, as you said, lives in Germany, and I don't ever see him probably not wanting to live in Germany. But the opportunity to do bigger things is always there, and I think that he will grow into those, and we'll see where it goes. But as of right now, I'm thrilled where he is. The testament to who he is and what he does is when he comes over here in the U.S. and just steps into the ring with anybody here, it's an epic event. So when you talk about worlds collide in a few weeks, coming over here and having Imperium face off against Undisputed Era, that's epic. I can't wait to see that clash.
Yeah, one last question about the Worlds Collide show at the end of the month. It's obviously like first time on that big of a stage, having NXT facing NXT UK. I would imagine the show you're doing the show because like giving more attention to the UK brand, or what's the idea behind it?
Yeah, I think there is, when you have separated brands, it's one of the things that I love about what we're doing right now is there are opportunities to see people thrive in NXT UK, to see somebody like Walter and Imperium thrive there, and then to see Undisputed Era thrive there and become the most dominant thing in the company, over a period of time. You make the argument for Undisputed Era. They've had the best last half of this year ever, taking over SmackDown and, Adam Cole going through Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins and just everything that they did, right? But the speculation when you watch that is always like the what if, right? Like oh my God, what if Imperium was to step over and get into the ring with the Undisputed Era? There are these great opportunities and moments in time because it's all one base of a company of WWE. It all sits under that umbrella to be able to bring them together and not do it all the time because then it doesn't mean anything. But when you space it out, you build these fantasy matches, these what ifs. And when then you can deliver on those what ifs, it's incredible. And that's really what this is about. Worlds Collide, I think, is going to be a very special event because you're going to get to see matches and rivalries in one-offs that have always been just speculation and hey, this is the best tag team there. What if they face the best tag team here? Hey, this is the best female performer in the UK, but what if she stepped into the ring with Rhea Ripley? How does that work? And especially with Rhea coming from there. So, that builds a lot of intrigue. And to me, it's an exciting piece of the brand that helps all of it grow.
Absolutely perfect. Looking forward to both shows this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from Alex McCarthy with Talksport.
Hi, Paul. How you doing?
I'm good, Alex. How you doing? Good to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm very good. Good to talk to you again, too. I'd like to start by, you just mentioned it, but the ladder match is one I'm really looking forward to in Blackpool. Knowing what you said in the past about Shawn Michaels and how he has a hand on the brand, is it fair to say that as an innovator of that kind of match that HBK is pretty excited to help put that one together?
Yeah, though, I think, yes, I will tell you that is something that I'm sure he is chomping at the bit on. And, it's an interesting thing as Shawn has gotten more and more involved in this. Blackpool has become, NXT UK has become sort of a passion project for him. And he's here in NXT on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. But we can't all be every place all at the same time. So he's kind of taken a much more guiding hand and controlling, voice with that brand. He's around the talent more. He's all those things. So, he's very close to a lot of the talent. He's very invested in their success. So I guarantee you he's excited for that match, but I guarantee he's excited for all of them. Walter, Joe Coffey, Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm. All those matches are going to be something special. We take great pride, both he and I and this entire team. Everybody that's involved, from the team that's over there, from Jim Smallman and everybody there to our team here in the U.S. Great pride goes into these shows. We really feel like the brand is synonymous. When we say we are NXT, it's synonymous to fans and the people that are putting it together because we're just fans. And there's a pride level that goes into that, as it does with everything in the WWE. But I think this is slightly different because you're building something fresher and newer and really trying to cultivate it. So the pride level is there. But we're excited, and I know Shawn. We're here today doing NXT in the U.S. Tonight for USA Network, but right after that he leaves, and then I leave in a day, and we'll be headed over to Blackpool, and can't wait to get there, and we're chomping at the bit to make this thing everything it can be.
Yeah, no doubt. The card looks fantastic. You were just talking about how NXT UK obviously has grown. That leads me into the deal with Bate, which of course seems great for NXT as a whole. I know you've been carefully building the UK arm of NXT, and perhaps wasn't actively chasing a TV deal because you were kind of carefully building that. But how did it all come about? Did BT kind of make the pitch, or did you see an opportunity? How did those conversations go?
So, there was a lot of conversations happening around, again, as with anything in the WWE, right? There's a lot of pieces to it. So it's Raw, it's SmackDown, it's NXT here, it's NXT UK. There's just a lot of pieces. So obviously for me and for NXT UK, it's about getting as many eyeballs as possible on the brand and building this over time. You want to do it right. You want to make sure it's done right and ready. So you want to take steps. Sometimes those steps take a long time. Sometimes they take a short time. I think we've talked about this on these calls before and in person before. Sometimes they seem like they take a long time, and then after they happen, you look back and you go like, wow, that was a blink of an eye. It really happened quickly. We weren't. I don't think. I've since day one been actively looking at larger distribution for NXT UK and getting as many eyeballs on it as possible. The timing was right here. BT, we've been having conversations with for a few years about partnering with them. The opportunity arose. We left our partners in Sky we'd been with for 30 years, who were phenomenal partners, and we were very proud of that relationship. But it was just the right time for both sides, and we're with BT now. Couldn't be more excited. They understand the brand. They're a very heavy, sport a base. So their fan base might be new to NXT UK, but we're picking them up. They do a huge amount to promote our shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK, across all of their football, rugby outputs. So I mean, it's really great to be a part of them. They understand it. They understand the social and digital of it. I couldn't be more excited about it. And it's always been a goal. The shifting of how it happens changes, but we're right where we want to be, and continuing to take the steps necessary to grow this brand to, as Vince always says, to one night be an overnight sensation. But overnight sensations take a long time.
Well, I've got to say, I think the reception to the deal over here has been great so far. Like the stuff they had on New Year's Day went down really well with UK fans. So certainly off to a great start. But my last question would be around the takeovers. Of course, this is our third one. You were talking to Neil earlier about there being more next year. I remember you telling me that in Cardiff too, that your plan was to expand. I just want to talk about locations, I guess. You might not want to tell us exactly where you have planned, if you do have them already, but two kind of main areas like London and Dublin have big demands. They're kind of craving NXT UK to come there. Are they two spots you're looking to get to sooner rather than later? And is it possible this year? Because with your tapings and takeovers thus far, it's been quite diverse areas of the UK.
Yeah, I think, we're trying to spread out where we go. And at first we want to hit particular pockets where we know it'll be good. And obviously Blackpool holds a charm spot for a lot of us. So to go back there, but absolutely, London has always been a massive fan base for WWE. NXT has been there and done phenomenally well with a takeover, and it's absolutely a place that we're looking at and is on a priority list. Dublin as well. Cardiff, I'd said it before when we went there, is one of my favorite places over there to work and for the fan base there. Incredibly loud, incredibly crazy. It's awesome. But I don't want to rule out anywhere. I'd love to go to Germany. I'd love to go, to France. I'd love to go to Italy. I'd love to go to so many markets and just expand this out. And BT really gives us the opportunity now to grow this and to take it out more. I really want this to be a fully functioning brand and to do more with it and grow it into its own thing. And it all happens step by step. So all those markets are on the list, absolutely, and we look forward to getting to all of them.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Paul. I'm really excited for the weekend. I hope to see you there, mate.
Me too. Hopefully I'll see you there.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from Gary Cassidy with Sportskeeda.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, Gary.
So, firstly, congratulate you on what Alex has just said there. The BT deal has been incredibly well received over here in the UK. I know this is easier said than done. How possible is it that we might see NXT UK going live as a weekly show in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that. I never want to say anything is not possible, because I think that is all possible. It's a little bit more difficult given the teams that we have right now. If over time we could build a team totally in the UK that is standalone, because when you start to get into live television, it certainly becomes not doable to be flying back and forth to the UK to do a show every single week. So it needs to be self-contained a bit more and in one location. So it's definitely something that's an option. It's just going to take some work to get to that.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate that. Being Scottish myself, I absolutely love NXT UK because, man, there's an incredible amount of Scottish talent doing incredible things on the show. Of course, there's a Scottish NXT UK Women's Champion just now and Tag Team Champions. We could have a Scottish United Kingdom Champion this weekend, but looking across the pond, Drew McIntyre's looking better than ever, if that was possible. Do you think we might see the first ever Scottish and British WWE Champion this year?
I think it's a possibility. Like Drew, has had an incredible run, started off at such a young age, and he's so young still now, and kind of just coming into his own really as a performer, I feel like. And I've said it for a long time. I've told him that, like, I think the sky is the limit for him. He left for a while. It was the best thing he could do to go, clear himself out and realize what he wanted, and for us to step away and coming back together. He's an incredibly hard worker. He takes this, as serious could be, and he wants to be the best in the world. So when you have that attitude and that work ethic, absolutely, that's a very strong possibility.
Excellent, man. And finally, I know you've said about Worlds Collide coming up. NXT UK, and 205 Live, you've previously said all fall under the one brand. With TakeOver Blackpool at the weekend, is there any possibility we might see some superstars across the pond appearing?
Look, I think what we've shown you in the past, with Balor on these events and different things that happen, that anything can happen. So, knowing that there is Worlds Collide around the corner, I think anything could happen. And I think this will be an exciting weekend because of that. Never say never, and anything can happen in this show.
Excellent, thank you. Hope I'll see you in Blackpool.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it.
Thank you. We'll move on to our next question from Alistair McGeorge with Metro UK.
Hi, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm good, Alistair. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. I kind of wanted to go back a year ago now, nearly, to last year's Royal Rumble in Phoenix, where sort of being there, sort of at the ballpark, getting to see Pete Dunne and Aleister Black share a ring in such a legendary match, sort of as a UK fan, was incredible. I assume there was a real sense of pride for you seeing those two guys get that kind of opportunity.
Absolutely. Anytime, it's a funny thing. Like I for a lot of these guys, you meet them, and there's, they have that spark, and for us, we can relate to it. That, you can look in their heart and see this burning desire to be something, and what that feels like because it was you. And what it takes to get there. And what it feels like to get that opportunity, and the adrenaline and the doubt and the butterflies and everything that comes with it, and to be able to go out there and put on the performances that they do and see their dreams becoming reality step by step by step. It's amazing. It really is. There's a huge sense of pride for that. But for them, we talk about these shows and talk about the takeovers and how good they are, and you talk about the NXT UK brand and how good it is. That's the talent. So that is the truth. That's the talent. We set the table. We tell the story. We set the table. And then they have to deliver. And when you see talent like Pete Dunne, who, again, he's like a Tyler Bate. I feel like I watched him grow up from a kid. He's like the kid that I walked by in Blackpool the first time and said, make a name for yourself. And, and here he is, just tearing it up on a global basis, known worldwide through this whole thing. It's incredible to see, same with Rhea Ripley, a talent with a dream, very, very young, injuries and things, but then you get her that opportunity to cut her teeth and almost sort of kind of capture her confidence in the UK, and then parlay that into where she is right now and having a moment like she did a few weeks ago, winning the NXT Championship from Shayna Baszler, and it's hard to even describe what that's like watching that happen.
That's it. Yeah, it's amazing on, I guess, all sides as a fan as well. I also wanted to go back in October. We kind of spoke in Orlando at the Performance Center, and you made it quite clear that your kind of focus now is very much on all your priorities outside of the ring and everything you have going on. But I was just wondering, given that we've also been talking about kind of what ifs earlier in the call, are there any NXT or NXT UK stars who you think could kind of tempt you to one more one-on-one match?
Yeah, sometimes I look at the talent that are there and I think like, oh man, if I was 25 and, could step into the ring with them. But the reality quickly comes back to you that you go, yeah, no, you're not 25 and you can't do that. And for a lot of them, the business evolves. And in some way, there's a lot of them where I look at it and I go like, from a storytelling standpoint, yeah, right. That's what we're sort of teaching them. And that comes from experience. But the physicality of it and the things that a lot of the talent are able to do, I couldn't do that anyway. So, while yes, that's in a fantasy world, that's very, very intriguing. And there are a lot of talent. I get asked that a lot. Shawn does as well about, who would we face from, NXT or NXT UK or all those things. There's a lot of talent that, man, I look back in my career and think like if I was in my prime, I'd be all over pitching ideas to do something with these talent. And, but the reality of it is you're not young anymore. None of us, it all moves on and it's a young man's business. And that's hopefully that always continues and it continues to grow.
No, absolutely. I guess we've got video games anyway, but, finally, a few weeks ago, we were chatting to Stephanie on one of these calls as well. And she kind of told me that she would really like to see AJ Lee and CM Punk back in the WWE. I just wondered if you kind of echoed those views or what your stance on that would be.
Yeah, I think what Steph was saying is that in the right circumstances, if it's good for fans and it's something that would be good for everybody, then absolutely. They were both phenomenal performers, incredible performers. But if it was right for them, for the company, for everybody involved, then absolutely. I don't think that's ever been a factor. Of somebody saying, well, this person should be here, that person should be here. Talent, incredible talent are always incredible talent. But there's so much more to the business than just being a talented performer. And while you can, again, I can fantasy book and say I'd like to be young again too. That ain't going to happen either. So, would in a perfect world, sure. Right. And again, I think you've heard Vince echo that statement a million times over the years, never say never. And you see people come in and out and performers and talent. And if it's right for fans and it delivers and it's right for everybody else business wise, then it's something that can happen. But if it's not, then it can't,
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time this evening and look forward to seeing you at the weekend.
Yeah. Thank you, Alistair. It's going to be a fun weekend. I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, you too, mate. Thank you.
Hey, Paul, this is Dan just coming back on. Everybody, we Paul, that's time. Do you have time to take a couple more questions? Do you want to hang for a bit?
Yeah. I can do a couple more.
Okay, guys. So, Sarah, we're going to go back to you. Sarah, we'll let as many people as we can ask one question each. Let's do a quick fire, one question each, and then we'll cut to the next one. We've got about 8 minutes. Let's go.
Okay, we'll move to Wolfgang Stouch with Power Wrestling.
Hi, Hunter. Nice talking to you again after such a long time.
Yeah, how are you, Wolfgang? It's good to hear from you.
Thanks. Happy New Year to you. So, the weekly...
Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you. The weekly NXT UK TV show has now been on the air for about 18 months. I know you cannot talk about the numbers too much detail, but are you happy with how the viewership compares to the main NXT show? And with this learning experience you have had with establishing a second NXT TV show, are you still confident in bringing this concept into additional markets?
I am. I think more so than ever. I'm confident in that, bringing it to markets around the world, localizing product there. I think there's not only a desire for it, but a need for it. And I think it helps the industry and the business overall, for everybody, in WWE paramount to that. But I'm thrilled with how the UK has done. It's been extremely popular critically. People like the show a lot. They're very happy with it, the talent, and it's continued to grow. Over time. These things are not about hot-shotting and making something big and then it just burns out or whatever. It's about long-term play and building something over time, grassroots that establishes something and becomes something more. And that's what this is. And I think that the UK, the talent base in the UK has done a phenomenal job of creating not only in front of the camera but behind the camera their own look and feel and the NXT UK brand has its own kind of aura and feels different. So I love that about it. I'm happy with where it's at. The BT opportunity obviously grows it and takes it to a whole nother level. And you have just as many fans watching around the world as well. Watching in the US, the network numbers show that as many fans are watching in the US. So it's been great. It's successful, but we're just getting started.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take our next question from Marco Ircol with Fox Sports.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hey, Marco. I'm good. How are you?
Hi, fine, thanks. Before you talked about Fabian Aichner, the only one Italian wrestler in WWE. But last year we have seen some Italians that worked for a few moments in the main roster, like the wrestler D3 in his matches against Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan. Is there one of them of the launching pad for NXT or NXT UK?
Yeah, I think that's constantly. Look, there's a large global spring of talent, so to speak, that are constantly, putting up new talent and talent that we're trying to look at who has the potential and who has the ability to get to another level. The unfortunate part is you can't take everybody and you can't build them all, right? You have to systematically go through things, and sometimes there are talent that you look at and you say, "Wow, this guy has something, and I really want to do something with him, but I just don't have the ability to do it in the moment. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the amount of coaches. I don't have the space for that performer, female or male, right?" So you have to push them off to the future a little bit. It's a kind of a puzzle and a game, but of waiting and trying to find the right opportunity, telling somebody to stick with what they're doing, keeping growing. We keep in touch with them. We give them, if we see them and they're sending us matches and promos. We're giving them critiques on that and trying to help them, even if they're not with us, to continue to grow and continue to get to that next level. And then when we have the opportunity to be able to help them and work with them one-on-one and take them to another level, then we can sign them and get them moving in a different direction, But you just can't put that spotlight on everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from Henry Holloway with Daily Star.
Hi, Paul.
Henry.
Thanks for taking your time out today.
Thank you.
I guess as I've just got the one question, I'll just shoot from the hip with this one. As it's NXT UK has been so successful, and we've got the new deal with BT Sport coming on, and wrestling's just continued to go from strength to strength in the UK. Isn't it about time the British Bulldog went in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, look, there's a group of people that make those decisions. I mean, if you ask me, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? 100%. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that do, and there's a lot of names that should be in there. And the consideration is there, I'm sure. If you're asking me my personal opinion, absolutely he should be in the Hall of Fame. And is it coming? Absolutely. It's just a matter of when.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on that note, I think we're going to have to wrap it because, Paul, I think I've got to get you clear for the top of the hour. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Paul, I'm going to give you a chance. Do you want to give any closing remarks for the guys for joining in? Sorry if you didn't get to ask a question. We got through an awful lot, though, and Paul shared a lot of views and some great opinions there. So, Paul, anything you want to wrap with?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody. Obviously, as everybody alluded to, and I said earlier, exciting time with this partnership, our new partnership, and it's incredible with BT is going to help grow this to another level. If you weren't on, or if you were on this call today and you didn't get to ask a question, please make the trip down to Blackpool, and we'll be doing a lot more media there, and hopefully I can get to everybody there, and you can ask it to me in person. I'll just reiterate how exciting I think this is with the opportunities that are coming down the line with Worlds Collide, for the UK brand, for this Blackpool takeover, to see the incredible talent of this base. This card right now is stacked. Walter, Joe Coffey for the UK Championship, Piper, Kaylee Ray, and Toni for the Women's Championship, Gallus and the Subculture Club and the Imperium for the NXT UK Tag Championships in a ladder match, Trent 7, Eddie Dennis, Tyler Bate, Jordan Devlin. It's stacked top to bottom, and when you look at that brand, there's so many talent that aren't even on here. I can't wait to move this forward. I can't wait to go to all the cities we talked about and just take this to a whole nother level. It's continuing to grow. It's continued to do so since the moment we did the first press conference, but like I mentioned a minute ago, we're just getting started. We have plans to make this much bigger, and time, it's just going to take a little bit of time, but I look forward to everybody coming on that ride, being a part of it. Thank you very much.